Right, so this is how we have our business meetings these days. Just on the table. Every clip that you see in this video today, apart from this studio shot right here, was indeed filmed on God, aka the Sony x3000. This little tiny camera is so underrated, and if you're a vlogger, it is literally the best thing that your money can buy. When it comes to vlogging, what is more important, the storyline and the content of your vlog itself, or the quality of the image? What I'm telling you now is the storyline and the content. Having said that, this thing gives a good quality image anyway, but obviously it's not going to be quite as good as a large mirrorless camera. But the problem with having a large mirrorless camera is that you're not going to have it ready to film at all times. The whole appeal of watching somebody's vlogs is that you're able to take a little glimpse into their life, share their day and see what they've been up to. And if you're not ready to film at a moment's notice, then you're really not getting the best out of your content. Now there's a few cameras labelled as pocket cameras, but this genuinely is a pocketable camera. This thing is tiny, which means you can literally have it on you all day, every day, and at any moment it can literally take you 1 second before you're recording. On top there is a button, and from when the camera's turned off, you hit this button and it's already recording now. And once you're done filming, you simply hit the other button and now the camera's stopped recording and it's turned itself off. And I can't stress this enough, but the most important aspect of making a vlog is to be able to capture any moment at the drop of a hat. And let's face it, if you've got anything above this sort of size, even the Sony ZV-1 for example, it might be small, but it's not small enough to literally fit in your pocket. Therefore you're going to miss moments because it's going to be buried in your bag or something, and by the time you've got it out, you would have missed what's happening. If you want your story to be the best that it can be, you need something this small. So taking that into consideration, if you want to prioritise the actual quality of the content in your vlog, your camera options are limited. You have the Sony x3000 and you have cameras like the GoPro, which will also fit into your pocket. But another aspect of what makes a good vlogging camera is it needs to be able to capture footage in all types of light. And compared to the GoPro, this thing cannot be beaten. So in broad daylight, yes, the GoPro is an amazing camera and it's capable of some amazing footage. But as soon as the light levels drop a bit, the stabilisation on the GoPro can't handle it and the shots become fuzzy and in my opinion unusable. The x3000 might not be quite as good as the GoPro in broad daylight, although the difference is so small that it's not a deal breaker. The image stabilisation that you get with the x3000 is not the same as any other action camera on the market. The rest of them all use digital processes to stabilise the footage, and again these are great in daylight situations, but when the light gets low they simply can't match the quality of this. Inside here they have optical image stabilisation. What that means is the sensor itself is actually moving to compensate for your shaky movements, and because it's not relying on digital software to do that job, it can perform the same level of stabilisation in the dark as it can in daylight. So to me that makes this camera the only action camera worth considering if you're going to become a vlogger, because what's the point in having that camera that's ready in your pocket to take videos at a moment's notice, but only being able to do so during daylight hours? So as I said, to be a good vlogger, the first thing you need to concentrate on is the storyline or the content itself, and the second most important part of making a high quality vlog is the clarity of the audio. Now this has an inbuilt mic which is actually amazing. We've got a little salesman come up to the window selling us, can I see them?
Where's the last
Selling us some of these little bracelets.
I really like the green and pink one, it's so cute.
Me too.
You're really nice.
Without having to plug in an extra mic, and by the way it does have a mic jack if you wanted to put an external mic on there, but in my opinion it's not needed, and it just makes this thing even more convenient. If something unexpected happens during your day and you want to quickly film it, imagine having to open your bag, pull out your camera, turn it on, make sure the settings are correct, then attach a mic, check the audio levels and press record. You're going to have missed what you wanted to film in the first place. But with this thing the audio is going to be crisp and it doesn't peak because the levels are set automatically. Now the only issue with the audio is if you're going to be filming outside, you will be picking up a bit of noise, but it's such a simple fix on this camera. Some people literally stick a bit of foam to the front here where the mic holes are, or you can buy a removable wind muff for a few pounds or dollars on Amazon. I'll stick a link down below if you wanted to check one of those out. Now personally, I went one step further and I got what I think is an amazing accessory to this camera. There's only one company that makes them and you can't buy them anywhere other than eBay, so I'll stick a link in the description below so you can check out that listing as well. It might be a little expensive, but in my opinion it's worth it. And this is it. Not only is it a protective case, but it also has this wind muff on the front, and all of the ports are still accessible, so you can reach the battery and the memory card underneath, and obviously all of the buttons. Now remember, this is just an optional extra. You can just go with this simple wind muff that will fit on the front, but I will be using this camera a lot, so I thought it was worth spending a little bit of extra money to get this case. So the third most important thing about what makes a high quality vlog is the quality of the video itself. Now this thing might be tiny, but it records up to 4K and it has such a wide angle lens that you can fit yourself and so much of your background in the shot, which is exactly what vloggers want. There's no point in taking your audience to a nice location if all they can see is your head floating around on the screen. Now you might have noticed that, like many action cameras, the wide angle view does have a slight fisheye effect. This isn't as much as the distortion on, say, the GoPro, but it's still there. Now personally, I've come to love this effect, because what it does is it gives your viewer the illusion that they're seeing the video through their own eyes. Now that might not sound like it makes sense, because obviously in real life we don't see everything in fisheye, but we also don't see things in the standard rectangular format that we're used to seeing on TV. Human vision is more of an oval shape, and the fisheye effect subconsciously gives that impression to the viewer. And in my opinion, this really makes them feel like they've come along on your journey with you. However, if you're really not a fan of that fisheye effect at all, you can set this camera down to a medium or even a narrow field of view to remove this effect. But make sure you're aware that if you do that, your image is going to be cropped in a bit, so you're not going to get such a wide field of view. Now, there might be something which is confusing you about this camera, and that is, where is the screen so that you can see yourself when you're filming? Well, here's the thing. It doesn't have one. But here's the other thing. You don't need one, and it's actually better not to have one. Let me explain why. So first of all, this thing shoots such a wide angle view that it really doesn't matter. Because of the way that the camera's length is front to back rather than side to side like most cameras, it's so obvious in which direction it's pointing. Take this clip of Izzy for example. This is the first time she ever picked up this camera. She pointed it at herself and the composition is absolutely fine. The field of view is so wide that you literally can't go wrong. And there's two more positives to not having a screen. The first is that when you're filming either yourself or somebody else, you always tend to look at the screen and not at the lens. This looks bad on the camera. For example, if I was to look at the side screen on this camera right now, you can see I'm no longer making eye contact with you. Yes, I can see myself better, but it doesn't really look very good to the viewer. Without having a screen there, you never make that mistake and you're always making direct eye contact with the lens. And lastly, the footage that you capture of people comes across a lot more natural when they can't see themselves. They're less worried about what they look like and how they're standing, for example, and they act the same as they would if the camera wasn't there. And without a bright screen shining everywhere, it's so much more subtle to walk around and use this thing. Half the time, people aren't even going to notice that you're filming. So all in all, I genuinely believe that this really is the best vlogging camera on the market. There are plenty of YouTubers, especially travel vloggers, with millions of subscribers that literally just carry this around and nothing else. The reason why is because their content is so interesting, they're able to capture anything at any time they want. So I genuinely urge you, if you want your content to be enjoyable and watchable, you need to get yourself one of these. Because if you go out and you buy yourself a larger camera, I guarantee that half the time when you go to leave your house, you'll look at it and you'll think, do you really want to take that out with you? Carry a bag around, the mic and all the accessories, and start walking around when people can see what you're doing? Or would you rather have one of these in your pocket at all time that you can simply pull out, hit a button, and then you're recording? I really do think this is as close as you can get to the holy grail of vlogging cameras. So I'm going to stick a link in the description below where you can check out the latest price, and I really urge you to do so, as this thing will change the way you vlog. Your audience will thank you and you will not regret your decision. So thank you for watching this video, I really appreciate it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.